From radioactive bumper cars to giant wooden roller coasters. These are 7 abandoned amusement parks around the world. Number 7. Lake Dolores Waterpark, California. If you have traveled between LA and Las Vegas, there's a good chance you spotted this dilapidated water park at one time or another. You probably wondered to yourself, who the hell would build a water park in the middle of the desert? The park was originally designed and built by local businessman Bob Byers for use by his extended family. Lake Dolores was named after Byers' wife. Initial construction took place in the early 1960s. The area actually contains underground springs fed by the Mojave Aquifer. Lake Dolores, the body of water, was a 273-acre man-made lake fed by underground springs, which you can clearly see from above. Over the next 25 years, rides and attractions were added to the lake until the site evolved into a water park. By 1990, the park experienced a severe downturn in popularity and was eventually sold off to a new management group. They tried to rebrand it as the Rockahula Water Park, a 1950s themed park with heavy American culture design elements, featuring non-stop 50s and 60s rock and roll music. Perhaps the coolest tidbit about this park is that in 1999, Lake Dolores was the proud host of the Electric Daisy Carnival. Might have been what inspired Insomniac Events to install carnival rides at every rave from then on. Anyway, the water oasis changed hands one more time, but it could not be saved. It finally, officially, for real this time, closed in 2004. Number 6. Boomers, Florida. This might be the most insane looking abandoned place I have seen in a long time. Something about massive structures covered in green really gets me going, yo. Boomers at Dania Beach was a really happening spot for a while, and it featured, as you can see, the biggest, largest wooden roller coaster in Florida's history. Although it was part of the Boomers Park, it was owned and operated independently by Dania Woody LLC. The roller coaster became operational in 2000 and was shut down by its operators in 2011. It's widely believed that Florida climate made upkeep of the wooden coaster way too expensive. At the time of its closure, Boomers released a statement saying, "The closure of this roller coaster does not and will not affect the operations of the Boomers Family Fun Center," which is pretty laughable considering the fact that there's a giant abandoned structure in the middle of your fun center. By 2015, Boomers at Dania Beach also shut down. I bet you're really excited to go visit this marvel of engineering and fun, but I have to be real with you. This is what the location looks like nowadays. Number 5. The American Adventure Theme Park, England. The American Adventure Theme Park, which was built on old coal mining land near Derby, England, was originally opened in June of 1987 with an Old West and Cowboys vs. Native Americans theme. Funnily enough, 2 years prior, a theme park called Britannia Park was built at the exact same location. It closed after only 10 weeks, and the founder of the park was later sent to prison for fraud. The American Adventure managed to stay open for years though, with new additions in 1989, like the Missile Coaster. I know what you're thinking, it's space travel though, not war, okay? The park also had a pretty cool log flume that was the tallest in the world at one time. By 1996, the park was suffering from a decline in clientele, and the profits followed. The original company sold the property, but the new owners could not save the park either. Even though they tried for the next 10 years, the park officially closed in 2006. Number 4. Sofia Land, Bulgaria. Touted as the first true amusement park in the whole country, Sofia Land captured the imagination of young kids from all parts of Bulgaria. Built in the capital of Sofia, it occupied 380,000 square feet of land and officially opened its doors on 21st September 2002. After only 1 year of construction. In October of 2006, the park that every kid loved shut down. Why? Because the investors who built the park were tired of losing money. Somehow, the original investment loan of $35 million ballooned to $45 million in the span of 4 years. The original company promised the park would be under new management and ready to open in 5 months' time. Let's just say it's been a long 5 months. Number 3. Gullivers Kingdom Theme Park, Japan. Gulliver's Kingdom was a failed theme park built in the shadow of Mount Fuji. The park was, in part, government-sponsored, in hopes of boosting the country's economy. The only thing it managed to do was create some construction jobs for a while. With a stagnant, and let's be honest here, bad theme for the park, it was set up for failure from the start. The park opened in 1997 and typified the bridge-to-nowhere construction projects Japan's government and banking sector championed in the 1990s. By 2001, the bank that sponsored this park was in the midst of an epic collapse. During the clearing process, it was discovered that the bank lent some $350 million to this park. And just like that, the unpopular park closed its doors to the general public. Throughout the last 20 years, the popularity of the park actually increased. Imagine that. People wanted to visit it when it was abandoned, and not when it was operating. In 2007, the park was thoroughly demolished. All that remains now is memories and pictures. Number 2. Nara Dreamland, Japan. This giant park opened its doors on July 1st, 1961. It was created by a rich Japanese businessman who was awestruck by the recently opened Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Kunizo Matsuo, the creator, visited the park while on a business trip and actually got in touch with Walt Disney about building a Disneyland location in Japan. For a while, things progressed just fine, but ultimately, Nara Dreamland did not become a Disney park due to disagreements about licensing fees. In 1983, an actual Disneyland opened up in Tokyo, and it slowly started siphoning Dreamland's customers. Attendance at the park dropped to dangerous levels, and slowly but surely, with the creation of Tokyo Disney Sea and Universal Studios Japan, Nara Dreamland could not sustain itself as a business. By 2006, things were so bad that the park closed down for good. Everything was left as is for almost a decade, until it was finally demolished. Number 1. The Park of Culture and Rest, Ukraine. This is a strange one, folks. It's rare to see something abandoned before it was ever even open to the public, but the reasoning behind never opening the park in the first place is rock solid. The Park of Culture and Rest, more commonly known as the Pripyat Amusement Park, was to have its grand opening on May 1st, 1986, in time for the May Day celebrations. But these plans were cancelled on April 26th, when the Chernobyl disaster occurred a few kilometers away. Several sources claim that the park was opened for a short time on April 27th, before the announcement to evacuate the city was made, possibly to keep the locals from worrying about the mega disaster happening on their doorsteps. Whatever the case may be, one thing is for certain: there will never be a new opening date for the park, since radiation levels around the area vary greatly, and areas where moss has built up have some of the highest levels of radiation in the whole of Pripyat. Check out the featured comment below, subscribe for more World Unearthed, and I'll see you in the next video.